Hello, it's Mio and welcome to this Doodle with me video where I will be trying out the reversed coloring book. So I got these two reverse coloring books by Kendra Morton for Christmas, and I thought it'd be really cool to finally live up to my username and actually doodle on this channel. So here you can see how these pages look like. So it's just a bunch of different colors and then you're supposed to kind of outline them. Here is one page that I already started on, and it is supposed to be a bunch of fishes that gradually turn into eyes. And it was a really fun exercise and I really liked doing it, so I thought I would make another page but on camera this time. I decided to go with the other reverse coloring book. This one I think is the first one that she made, but I'm not really sure. And then I flipped through it until I found a page that I had some idea of what I want to make, because it was the only page that I really saw one clear form for. Here are the fine liners that I'm going to be using, or what I thought I was going to be using, but I ended up only really using the 0.2 and a little bit of the 0.8, but the other ones were a little bit too small. So here is me going into the first line. The only forms I was able to see when I looked at this page was this deer face, but like on a flower in a way. So instead of the flower itself, you have an animal face. So I decided that that would kind of be the theme of this page. Going in with the first lines was definitely very scary because I tend to do digital art and it's been a really long time since I did line art. And I'm also a line art hater, so I also thought that this exercise would kind of help me get over my fear of line art and maybe start liking line art. Spoiler alert, it did not, but I did get a lot more comfortable throughout this process using fine liners, which is something that I haven't done in a really long time, and it was really fun to just kind of doodle and make something up as I went and not really thinking all that much about it. So here is the very clear deer form that I had been like looking at this whole time and could not unsee. Maybe you were able to see it as well. Let me know. I'm actually really curious about if like we all see the same stuff or if we have something completely different. In the end, I actually ended up really liking this deer, and it also started out as a really good like boost for me, or confidence boost in my lines. I also decided to kind of make some heavier lines and some a bit thinner to get a little bit of line variation into it and yeah, make it a little bit more detailed all around. Then I decided on these kind of more cartoony eyes because I thought that would be really cute. And that would also be kind of like a little signature throughout the piece for the most part. For even more texture and added detail, I decided to go with these lines, which I'm also going to be putting on most of the animals. Then I decided to line this little blob over here that to me just looked like a crocodile. I couldn't see anything else, so I decided to make a very nice little crocodile here. That's also another thing that I really like about these reverse coloring books, is that you have to be really creative. And I also feel like I'm not all that creative of a person, or I might be creative, but I don't feel like I am as creative as I would want to be. So I feel like this is a really good exercise in creativity and just drawing what you see without being stressed about it and without thinking that everything needs to be perfect. It's a really good little doodle exercise. A lot of the animals that I draw in this video are kind of fictional or not really real animals, like this one right here that kind of looks like a snake but gets these tiny little fish scales which don't really make much sense. So many of these animals are going to be fictional because I'm just seeing blobs, and on some of these I can't really think of an animal, so it just becomes something. Here is another snake looking creature. And then I also try to add or make some of the blobs that I see or any of the more almond forms into little leaves. And I tried different kinds of leaves. Here I'm, for example, adding some details in the inner corners or like on the inside and then also on the outside, but leaving a little bit of the middle exposed to try to make it look like the sun is hitting the leaves. And there's like a crevice in the middle which catches the shade. Otherwise, there are not really all that many thoughts that went into this drawing. I just kind of go along with it, draw what I see. Right here I saw the hummingbirds, or one normal looking bird and one hummingbird. So I drew that, and it's very much just go with the flow on this one, which is not usually my style, but it's fun. So there's not all that much to say about this. So I'm just gonna stop talking now and let you enjoy the process, and I will come back in if there's anything fun to talk about.
Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Here we're moving more up on the page and starting with this very weird blob, and the only thing I could see here was this kind of a closed-eyed lizard, and I think it turned out absolutely horribly, but that's kind of what this exercise is about, right? Just going with the flow and doing your thing. And then the only thing I could see down here was an eye that was like had these leaves around it. So that's what I did. That is also kind of ruining the theme and not really following it, so I also regret that a little bit. But, you know, it's a process. While making this video, I decided to only speed it up by 100%, which means that this video is double the speed that it is actually drawn in, which means that it's not really sped up all that much. And I also decided to try to cut as little of the details out as possible. So you're seeing not completely raw footage, but mostly raw footage here of me drawing. And the reason I did that for it was that I wanted to kind of show the whole process and the whole details. So it's a bit of a longer video, which is kind of hard for most people, also me, because I have a terrible attention span like most people nowadays. But I also think it's kind of fun to kind of show all of the little details and also kind of show me failing as well, and not just the perfect pretty bits. It personally makes me enjoy the process or the drawing a lot more when seeing more of it and more of the thoughts that go into it. This form right here I kind of struggled with, because to me it kind of looks like a leaf and I couldn't really see what it could be. So I decided to just move along and not do that form right away. And on this one I kind of saw this sort of shark or whale shark, but I decided to give it teeth, so it's not a whale shark, it's more of a fictional character. Oh, and this one, then I come back to this one, and the only thing I could really see was maybe a rat, because the nose reminded me of a rat. So I made a really, really ugly little rat boy here and gave him some teeth. So yeah, it's horrid, it's terrible. I really, really dislike this creature. And this whole upper page has a lot of just weird stuff, because I'm kind of running out of ideas. Except for this one. This is a cute little deer that I made. I like this one, this was cute. But besides this one, the creatures are turning weird. Like this little seahorse, for example. It's quite strange. It has a charm to it though. Not a nice charm. And then the next one that I make is a mouse. And I didn't really follow the form all that well here, but I wanted to make a mouse. So I did, and it turned out really cute. So there are some cute ones up here as well, even though most of the cute ones, in my opinion, are lower on the page. Here you can see me kind of slowly starting to lose interest. So I start making these really quick lines that have lower amount of detail. And then here I make a bird, and the bird is kind of cute. In my opinion, it looks a little traumatized. And then I add a little bit of shading here and there just to get a little bit more of that line variation, which I kind of abandoned for the most part later on in the game because I'm just kind of bored of it and just want to get this thing finished. That's also the thing with these coloring pages, is that there are a lot of lines, but you can kind of choose if you want to go with all of them or if you want to give up or make it more simplistic. And I tried to make this one semi-detailed, but it definitely got a little bit much for me in the end there. And that's also the same with the eyes and the fishes that I showed before, that I kind of got bored of it after a while and never finished. So I was kind of forcing myself to finish this one and try to line most of the things in the background, even though I didn't add all that much details to the background elements. This right here is the final creature of the page, and it is mostly just a blob. Yeah, I don't think I really chose what kind of animal it is, but I did give it some mouse ears, so maybe it's a mouse. And then here I'm just adding the final little lines and details to the background to give it a little bit more texture, and that is pretty much it. Here is the finished page, and here is a better look at the finished page with the liners, which I only used one of. But you know, the aesthetics. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.